All right, happy Friday to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Remeisha Shade. We are tracking the tropics for today, and we are almost exactly 2 weeks away from the 2024 hurricane season being over, and we can say it's a wrap on November 30th, but we've still got to get through this next couple of weeks, and we still have a system, a tropical storm that we are monitoring out there. So let's get right to it and talk about exactly what is happening out there in the tropics. First of all, an overview of what's happened so far for this season. We've had several named storms. In fact, this was the list of names given to us at the beginning of the season, and we've used just about all of them. We started off with Tropical Storm Alberto. Then, of course, we were hit right here in Houston by Hurricane Beryl as a weaker Category 1 hurricane, but it was still a lot of damage that Beryl did in the Houston area. Then we had several additional storms as we went through the season. Of course, most recently, we had Sarah develop in the Western Caribbean. It is still a tropical storm churning out there and bringing a lot of heavy rain to parts of Honduras. So overall, we've had 18 named storms so far this season. Out of those 18 named storms, 11 have become hurricanes, and out of those, 5 have become major hurricanes. Of course, that's Category 3 or greater, Category 3, 4, or 5. So we've still got about 3 more names that we could potentially use over the next couple of weeks. That would be Tony, that's the next name on the list, Valerie, and then William. But we are hoping that after we get rid of Sarah, things will calm down permanently, and that will be it. But of course, we will continue to monitor the potential for more tropical action developing in the last few weeks, the last stretch, the last leg of this hurricane season. We have had, like I said, a fairly active season. It's been above normal. Usually for an entire hurricane season for the Atlantic Basin, you have about 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. But like I just said, we've already had 18 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. That is above normal for sure, and that is pretty much exactly what the CSU forecasters, that's Colorado State University, and the NOAA forecasters call for before this season began. NOAA, of course, calling for a range of 17 to 24 named storms, out of those 8 to 13 becoming hurricanes, and out of those 4 to 7 becoming major hurricanes. So bottom line, it's been a super busy season. We're ready for it to end. I know I am. I'm sure you are, but we still have a tropical system out there. So this is Tropical Storm Sarah, and you can see it churning there, impacting parts of Central America, and it will continue to dump some very heavy rain across parts of Honduras, Nicaragua, also parts of Guatemala, and eventually moving over towards the Yucatan Peninsula. So you can see the yellows and oranges and reds and purples. Those are big bursts of convection, those showers and storms dumping some of those tropical downpours across parts of Central America and Mexico. The good news with Tropical Storm Sarah, it does not appear that there will be enough time for Tropical Storm Sarah to actually strengthen into a hurricane. So that is certainly some good news, but we are going to continue to closely monitor for the potential for a really big threat for that flash flooding for the Honduras area. We definitely have very warm water temperatures out there. So if Sarah can manage to move across the Yucatan Peninsula and survive and push into the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, there's a chance it could remain a tropical system and get pulled and picked up by a cold front next week and maybe head towards the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. Notice water temperatures in the northern Gulf are starting to cool down some, down to the upper 70s. That's because we're starting to get some of those stronger fronts moving in from the north and northwest. But water temps in the central, southern Gulf of Mexico and in western and northern portions of the Caribbean still super toasty for mid-November. We're talking about low to middle 80s. So that's why we're thinking we may not be finished with tropical action for this hurricane season. There is still the potential for a little bit more. All right, let's talk about what we have going on with Tropical Storm Sarah right now, and notice the blue here. The outline of the blue, those are tropical storm warnings, and notice the majority of that northern Honduran coast under a tropical storm warning. That means wind speeds around 39 to 73 miles per hour will be likely at times, and also there's the potential for those bursts of tropical rain, those downpours, I mean, tremendous downpours that could lead to some major massive flooding. And of course, there's always the risk for the large swells, the high rip current risk, maybe a little storm surge. So all of those things will be a potential issue, especially for Honduras as we go through the next couple of days. As far as the track for Sarah, it is forecast to basically meander, move very slowly, extremely slow across the northern portion of the Honduras area. So it is going to hang out likely for the next day or two, and that is going to mean a lot of rain over some of the same areas. Notice that it remains a tropical storm through about midnight Sunday. Then it starts to roll over the Yucatan Peninsula, finally starting to pick up a little more speed and move away from Honduras. But that means a heavy rain threat to the Yucatan Peninsula. Then as we go into Sunday night, Monday morning, it likely tries to push into the Bay of Campeche, the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. But here's the deal. Half of the models kind of have it weakening and falling apart, not really surviving that trek across the Yucatan Peninsula. So half the models have it weakening by Monday. The other half hold it together, and they have it getting picked up and pulled up by a cold front as we go into the middle part of next week. So our GFS Futurecast will show you exactly that. Notice 10 p.m. tonight, the tropical system, Tropical Storm Sarah, still hanging out right to the north of the northern Honduran coast. So that means a lot of heavy rain, gusty wind, tropical storm conditions will be likely. As we put this into motion, though, notice what happens as we go into Sunday. Starts to pull away by Sunday evening, moving over the Yucatan Peninsula. So conditions will slowly but surely start to improve for Honduras as we go into the late part of the weekend. Notice by Monday morning, Monday afternoon, 8 a.m. Monday, what is left of Sarah will likely emerge in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico or the Bay of Campeche. However, some of the models have it so weak at this point to where it just basically dissipates or falls apart. Now, there are still a few models that kind of hold it together, but even if it holds together, it's still not coming towards Texas. Why? Well, we have a very strong cold front that will come rolling into Houston and southeast Texas Monday evening, Monday night into early Tuesday, and that will push whatever is left of Sarah away from the Houston area and actually over into the northeastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. So maybe some heavier rain for parts of the Big Bend of Florida, parts of the northern middle portions of the Florida Peninsula, and also over into parts of southern Alabama, maybe Mobile, Alabama, even New Orleans will have a bigger shot for rain, especially by the middle of next week. So whether Sarah holds together or not, it's not going to be moving into our area. So that is certainly some good news. All right, let's talk about our spaghetti model plots, our different computer models and what they're saying. And I want you to note that this is where Tropical Storm Sarah is located right now, just to the north of that northern Honduran coast. It moves over the Yucatan Peninsula late in the weekend. And then Monday morning, these are the models that kind of have it falling apart or dying in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. But notice some of these other models kind of keep going. They have Sarah basically holding together and pushing over towards Florida by Wednesday and Thursday. So it's kind of half and half. Sarah may fall apart and be completely gone by Monday morning in the southwestern Gulf. Sarah could hold together and get picked up by that cold front and pushed into the northeastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico, likely the Big Bend of Florida. So we'll have to watch things closely, but bottom line, it does not appear that Sarah will become an impressive, super powerful tropical system. It likely won't ever become a hurricane. If it holds together after Monday, it should still remain fairly weak, but it will increase that threat for rain for north and northeastern portions of the Gulf of Mexico, especially over into parts of Florida. So we're tracking and watching Sarah very closely. It's not going to be a problem at all for any part of the Texas Gulf Coast. But like I said, the northeastern Gulf Coast, especially Florida, still needs to watch it because it could be a big rain producer, and we'll have to wait and see if Sarah can maintain that tropical status as we go through next week. But we are at least on the decline. We've got about 2 weeks left for this hurricane season. Of course, hurricane season officially ending on November 30th, so 2 more weeks and we are out of hurricane season for this year. But of course, until then, we're still going to hop on, give you your daily detailed tropical updates until we are completely out of the woods, because I know some of you have cruises this time of the year in the Caribbean, over into the southwestern portion of the Atlantic, near the Bahamas, maybe over to Puerto Rico. So we want to keep you updated and let you know if there's any tropical trouble brewing. Well, that is all that I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there and enjoy your weekend. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Remeisha Shade.